Welcome to the Butts and Seats podcast, episode number 48, where we crawl towards the impending doom of WCW.
That's the new phrase, is impending doom.
Yeah. I'm Nick alongside Emily.
And we have a very special announcement at the very beginning of the show.
We do. Feels weird to do it with this episode, but sure.
Well, it's the most recent in the real life. Nick and I are engaged.
Woo! Speaking of impending doom.
Oh my god, Nick. No, he asked me last Sunday.
It was the day after we recorded Road Wild, so it did not get a mention on there, but it had already happened by the time Road Wild had come out.
But yeah, this is the first time that we are potting as an engaged couple, as a betrothed couple.
So, the chemistry is just going to be that much better.
And we're not sick this time.
Yes, that is nice.
Lots of good announcements this episode.
I had to edit out a lot of coughing.
I know. Last episode was rough. It's okay, because I got my glass of wine, you got a beer, we both got rings on our fingers, because yes, I did get Nick a ring, because I am a progressive feminist.
Came in about 20 minutes before the episode. I would say, who's that Pokemon for Road Wild?
For Road Wild?
Yeah, for the Road Wild episode, who's that Pokemon?
Guzzlord.
I was going to say it's coughing, but you're just obsessed with Guzzlord now.
I'm obsessed with the fact that he exists. That Pokemon should not exist.
Does it make it better or worse that it's like an alien Pokemon?
Probably worse.
Okay.
Oh, because that gets into a whole, tentacle porn sort of thing.
Oh, God,
yeah.
Emily.
Absolutely worse.
We may have set the record for quickest transition from engagement to tentacle porn.
We're engaged!
I want to say mention of it, not acts of it.
But yeah, I'm very excited. This is going to turn into a wedding planning podcast for the next year and a half.
Yes.
I will come on here every week and tell you about my woes of wedding planning. And today it's venues. Venues suck. Why are they so expensive? They all look the same. This is stupid. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yay, wedding.
We're going to go to the courthouse tomorrow and just be done with it.
I don't know how to get out of that.
Speaking of weddings, how about Nitro?
Well, speaking of terrible venues, this is not the Sturgis Rally anymore. This is just a regular standard venue in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Because today we're talking about the August 16th, 1999 Monday Nitro, a.k.a. the Sid Show.
It was a Sid-uation, if you will.
I want the ring back.
No!
So, Emily, do you want to get into this episode, or do you want to keep talking about your ring?
I don't know. I'm torn.
Let's get into the episode.
Ring's pretty.
You can look at it while I talk.
It's becoming a problem. It's very distracting.
So this episode of Nitro starts, like many do now, with a recap of last week's Nitro. This one entirely ignores the pay-per-view, though.
Yeah, minus 2 or 3 mentions throughout the episode, there is almost no mention of Road Wild at all.
Very little of Kevin Nash as well, because...
No, I was wrong.
Yeah, spoilers.
I was wrong.
Emily was dead wrong.
I really thought that he was going to come out... Even just, stand at the end of the ramp, I thought he was going to come out at the main event, but...
Do the hands on the hips.
Exactly, and then cut to black. That's all I expected, but I was wrong.
We then get the Nitro opening, which then flows nicely into the Nitro girls. Although Kimberly does not look interested this week, and I wonder if it's because she's about to be part of storylines again, and she's like, I don't need to do the dancing thing.
She just looked bored. I mean, they all kind of... I've been using the phrase phoning it in a lot recently, but these girls really just look like they're an afterthought, and they just don't care to be there anymore. I really wonder how much they're getting paid.
These Nitro girls have a chance. I know the later ones don't get paid shit.
Yeah, so they're not showing up for rehearsals.
Kimberly probably has a nice contract.
Well, being DDP's wife pays.
Well, I remember noting that, they ended, and before, the final note even hit, she's, already walking out of the ring, I'm done. All
yeah,
right.
the other girls are, waving and, doing their crowd thing, and Kimberly's already, going up the ramp, okay, I'm done. Good night.
Tonight we have Tony and Bobby on commentary, and as mentioned on our Road Wild episode, Tony notes that Sid is apparently 55-0.
His counting is just atrocious throughout this episode.
It's a weird mix, and they
No, it's not a weird mix, because there are points in this where spoilers, he'll come and break up a match, and because they ring a DQ bell, he's like, oh, that's 2 more to my record. No, that's not how that works.
It actually gets worse on Thunder.
So you can't say it's a weird mix. It's not a weird mix. It's just straight fuckery.
Actually, I'll talk about Thunder.
We're engaged. I'm going to fight you more.
Okay. I'll talk about Thunder in a little bit, because This story does continue into Thunder.
Oh, good.
And by this story, I mean the general theme of the evening tonight. But on top of Sid being 55-0, he's going to face Hulk Hogan tonight in the main event.
We have so many matches to get to, so maybe we should just get into the show.
I think like 12.
So many matches.
We get some Nitro stills of Sid versus Sting. And then we get Lash LaRue versus Juventud Guerrera. Any thoughts on this match going in?
Not particularly. I had to get you to tell me who Lash LaRue was again.
Yeah.
I like Juventud.
I do like how they do like have the nameplates when they come out, and you're like, who is this guy? I'm like, they just said it.
I didn't see the nameplate for Lash. I asked who Lash LaRue was before the plate came up. I think so.
It was after.
Well, maybe I had my head down.
He's
Maybe
already
I was
in the
typing
ring.
out Juventud.
It is a mouthful to spell.
And I always type it out like Juve on my iPad, but it always autocorrects to June. So I have to back it up. I have to type Hoovy. It's a whole thing. It's a lot of work to write 4 letters.
So they pulled the crowd to start. Hoovy's getting cheered, which I'm like, yeah, okay. He doesn't really have much of a character right now, so might as well cheer him for being a good wrestler.
Yeah. They said that Lash LaRue was from the power plant. Can you do a rundown of what the power plant is again?
Power plant is basically the performance center they have there.
So it's WCW's NXT kind of?
It's not a show. It's literally just a performance center, like training center kind of thing. Because, Goldberg's originally from there. Trying to think who we've seen that's gone through there. Because we had the one, sergeant guy who wrestled David Flair. He's like, oh, you work at the power plant?
I do not remember him.
Kenny Chaos was from there, if you remember from our first couple episodes.
Kenny Chaos, yeah.
Yeah, it's just their training center, and its batting average is not great.
Yeah.
Granted, its batting average is not great because they're also just pushing mostly WWE stars of the 80s.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean...
Chris Benoit's not getting a push. Lash LaRue doesn't stand a fucking chance.
Absolutely not. We're still on the... We're just on the tail end of the Savage storyline. Nobody knew he was getting a push yet. Yeah. And Hogan is the main face of this fucking company right now. Everyone else needs to wait their turn.
We get a pseudo shake, rattle, and roll from Lash LaRue. Hoovy counters a pop-up powerbomb looking thing into a Hurricane Rana. We then get dueling pin combinations, including a bridge, which Emily always likes.
I love a bridge.
And then we get Sid coming down to the ring.
So here's the thing. Before the Sid interference, these two guys lock up back to back and kind of do the test of strength with each other's backs. And it was such a bad sell that I heard the crowd booing. And I was like, oh, wow, they see what I see. This is shit. They're booing at them. And then Sid comes down oh, well, they don't give a shit about this match. All right, never mind.
Yeah, Emily's referring to a backslide type maneuver. Yeah, Sid comes down to the ring. He choke slams Hoovy, powerbombs Lash LaRue. And I'm like, is this LaRue's new gimmick? Because I swear he did a match within the last couple weeks where I'm like, why is this match happening? Oh, Randy Savage is here.
Lash LaRue is just the feeder.
Yeah, it's just that
he's the bait.
Exactly. LaRue then eats a second powerbomb, and Sid grabs a mic and shouts a bunch.
Nick always loves when he shouts.
He says the name Goldberg will be obsolete in the new millennium to Goldberg chants, and I'm just like, dude, he's still going to be relevant in 2020.
Yeah, you're not getting rid of him anytime soon, unfortunately. I'm going to cut a shouty Sid promo at our wedding.
Yeah.
That's going to be our vows.
Okay.
We're going to cut promos on each other. That'll be our vows.
I just do the cross-legged CM Punk style thing. Emily, while you stand there in that dress, hopefully it's uncomfortable as you possibly can be. I'm going to tell you something.
I love it. We have to figure out how we're incorporating wrestling into our wedding because God damn it, we're going to. I just don't know how yet.
You may now put the bride through a table. So Sid shifts focus to Hogan, says he's going to keep interfering tonight until Hogan just gives him the belt. And he ends his promo with, and that's the bottom line.
Because Stone Cold said so.
Well, he leaves that part out. And I'm like, okay. So Sid leaves, and it's time for our next match. I guess no real notes on that match because it really wasn't even really a match.
It wasn't a match, no.
We get Steven Regal versus Scotty Riggs, and I'm like, okay, heel versus heel. I'm sure the crowd is really going to be into this.
Steve's coming down in his best interview with a vampire cosplay.
I laughed my ass off. And he floofs his, puffy shirt arm up to look like a muscle. It's like, hey.
Yeah.
We get some nice European uppercuts early on from Regal, or as he calls them, uppercuts. And then Sid comes down. Choke slams Regal, powerbombs Scotty Riggs. He then tells the camera that Hogan can prevent this by giving Sid the title.
But this is also where he looks at the camera and says, "That's 59." And that's when I'm like, oh, you just counted those 4 men towards your streak? I think the fuck not.
I missed saying 59, but he did say, I heard him say, that's 1 closer to your record, Goldberg. I'm like, wait, 1?
Oh, maybe that's what I heard.
And I'm like, wait, so...
I don't know.
But somehow he's at 59 later.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's really confusing because I'm pretty sure that they are counting Juventud and Lash LaRue as 2. And now Steven Regal and Scotty Riggs as 2 more.
That would make sense. However, he beats up more guys later.
So what do you think his streak is at the end of the show? Maybe it is 70-something.
I don't know. Actually, it might... Ooh, okay. I think I might know how they get to a number on Thunder.
Yeah.
Because somehow on Thunder, to start, it's 61.
Okay, if they're counting 1 by 1 guys, that works. We can get to 61.
Yeah, and then they don't count Hogan in the main event because they get around that.
Yeah. But yeah, if they're counting it 1 by 1, 61 doesn't sound as ridiculous. I mean, the idea that they're counting 1 by 1 on matches that he's not even part of as part of his streak is ridiculous.
And he's not pinning people.
Exactly. It's still ridiculous, but I can see how they're getting to the numbers.
Because hypothetically, you could have... Like, give him a sidekick. Like, give him Charles Robinson, like, as a sidekick.
Oh, no, don't make Charles Robinson the sidekick again.
Well, Sid beats guys down, and then Charles Robinson just counts 3. It doesn't actually count, but it's just Sid keeping track of it.
Yeah, and you're right, but
that's
give it to somebody else.
That's kind of what they do on Thunder, because on Thunder, commentary is Mike Tenay and Larry Zbyszko, who just...
Oh, Larry.
Yeah, we haven't seen Larry in a while.
No.
The living legend.
Living like Larry.
But Larry says the streak is like 61, and Mike Tenay is like, well, Sid is saying that, like, we don't recognize that. But Tony and Bobby are absolutely recognizing that number.
Yeah, they absolutely are recognizing that. Maybe Mike Tenay is not, but he's in the minority.
But even then, the fact that he was already at 55 is still ridiculous.
But if they're counting 1 by 1, like, maybe. And maybe they're double counting guys if he's had matches with them multiple times. Like, I don't know.
So Hogan is not giving him the title, so the threat of Sid looms over this show still.
Yep, sure does.
Commentary chats Sid and Road Wild, and then we get our third match of the evening.
We're just going to power through these matches because there are literally 12 of them.
Which is the Cat with Sonny Ono versus Mike Enos.
So I was thinking about this. Is Mike Enos WCW's answer to Val Venus?
No.
Just in name. Not in gimmick, but in name.
I don't think so.
Because Mike Enos has a big penis, works just as well as Val Venus has a big penis.
Apparently he wrestled in WWF as Blake Beverly.
Very memorable run. Yeah, he tagged up with Chuck Palumbo. You remember that?
Fuck you. He got this gimmick in 96, so I don't think they're going for that. Now, I do need to reference a Vince McMahon promo here.
Oh, no.
I think from 2009, there was a whole thing where Raw had to be moved because it was the NBA playoffs and Raw was supposed to happen in Denver. Then the Denver Nuggets had to play their playoff game at home on that day. So like, sorry, Raw, you can't be here.
Okay.
So they ended up moving it to LA and the Nuggets were actually playing the Lakers. So they did it there. And Vince McMahon comes out and has somebody impersonate the owner of the Nuggets because Vince McMahon is salty that they had to move their venue. So I want to say the owner of the Nuggets is Stan Kroenke, and I'm double checking it is. Because apparently Stanley is his middle name. His first name is Enos. And Vince McMahon has a fucking field day with just, you're an Enos. Sounds like a butthole, pal.
What?
And that's pretty much that's the gist of the promo.
Oh, he's saying Enos as an anus?
Yeah.
I'm thinking Enos sounds like a penis.
No, he's going for anus jokes.
Yeah, Enos sounds like a butthole. What? That doesn't work as well in my brain.
That's effectively, it's just the most juvenile humor while you have somebody pretend to be him out in the ring. I'm just like, so if I think Mike Enos, I just think of Vince McMahon going, you're an Enos.
Oh, God.
You know, like the mature 60 to 70-year-old man he was at the time.
Yeah.
On national television, though, writing a segment to where you just make fun of this guy's name. He's not even there. He's not going to be around. It's just you saying,
Being a dick.
yo, fuck this guy in particular.
He has a dumb name.
So anyway, this match is the Cat versus Mike Enos. I'm like, wonder who's going to win this one. Although Mike Enos does get more offense in this than I thought, even though the match goes about 2.5 minutes.
At the beginning of this match, the Cat says that he's going to pin Mike Enos in less than 4 minutes.
Or he'll never return to this town again.
Yeah, well... But like he has the ref
Colorado
time him.
Springs. I mean, it's not a real big threat.
Colorado Springs is nice.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's just not a popular wrestling town where it's like, oh,
wrestling. No, I think of it as like, oh, I'll never come on vacation here. That's kind of a bummer.
No,
Lovely.
I'm saying like, oh, he'll have to miss this show because it's in Colorado Springs. Like,
oh no.
Yeah, you're not really. You might miss one Nitro every 3 years.
But he's having the referee time the match, which is important because Nick also timed the match.
We'll get to that at the end. Enos hits a few power moves to start. His commentary notes that he's been winning a lot on like the minor shows. Like, oh yeah, WWE Worldwide and Saturday Night. Neither of which are available on Peacock. And I probably should have looked, but I was actually wondering. I'm like, I wonder what his actual like win-loss record recently was on those shows. Like, are they just betting that you have not watched Worldwide? Because they'd be right.
Yeah, they're probably. I mean, yeah, probably.
I know those records are kept at this point. The Cat calls it a distraction and goes on offense until Enos catches him. Sonny Ono then gets on the apron and Enos goes for a press slam, but just kind of holds him up for a while the Cat lines up a kick, hits it, and then wins. No Sid
interference.
I think that's it, and no dance shoes.
And no dance shoes. I think he's done with the dance shoes because he didn't have them at Road Wild either.
Yeah, I guess they didn't. I thought they had the briefcase, but that might have been the weeks before.
They might have had the briefcase, but it didn't play into the shoes at all.
So post-match, they note that apparently the Cat won in 3 minutes and 39 seconds.
And according to Nick's time...
It was about 2.5 minutes. I wonder if it was 2 minutes and 39 seconds and they screwed up.
Yeah.
Because I started a little bit late. I counted about like 2:15, 2:20.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, that's possible.
Okay. It's not as damning as I thought it was. Bummer.
Yeah, this is not going to go anywhere. This is just treading water with the Cat.
Do you think that this is like a transitionary match where like the Cat doesn't want to feud with Buff anymore, but they don't have anything set up for him next, but they want to keep him on TV?
Buff is apparently in the doghouse.
Good.
After that match, we get a Berlin hype vignette.
So this I felt really dumb. Because like, again, I was looking down, finishing up my notes for the last match, and I look up and there's just like imagery of the Berlin Wall. And I'm like, why are they showing this? Just like, it's images of the Berlin Wall. Oh, it's Berlin. It took me vocalizing what I was watching to figure out what I was watching.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
dumb.
very subtle.
No.
Oh, wait a minute, Emily. I'm realizing my numbers still don't work out for Sid.
No?
Because you go backstage and Sid attacks Super King and La Parka. And
Oh, that would bring it up to 61, wouldn't it?
No, well, that would bring it to 61. But that's assuming he's done for the night.
Exactly. Oh, damn, I thought we were onto something.
So, in the best spot of the evening...
Spoiler, it's Nick's best bit.
Shut up. Sid gets La Parka in a powerbomb position and then just drops him right on the popcorn, baby. Just big ass bag of popcorn. It just like kind of pops as it goes off. It's like, oh, devastating. La Parka sells it like the man just got fucking thrown into fucking Mount Doom. Like,
oh my god.
Silver King's there. It's over. It's done.
It's over.
I was kind of sad we did not get El Dandy during.
I know, if we're gonna do like luchadors backstage that no one has thought about in weeks, let's throw El Dandy in there.
I honestly don't know who's still under contract, who's not.
Apparently La Parka and whomever this other guy was.
Silver King.
Apparently they're still under contract.
I'm sure Sid shouts something about give me the title, Hogan, but I didn't really note it.
He's a shouty man.
Let's move into our fourth match of the night. Rey Mysterio versus Lenny Lane for the Cruiserweight title.
Rey comes out looking less than pleased.
He at least has his fucking title belt. It's a title defense, so I guess he has to bring it to the ring.
Yeah, but he's just got stink face on. It almost comes off as he's like pissed off that he has to fight these guys because it feels like beneath him. But then as the match goes on, I think he's just mad that he's part of the storyline.
It comes off like he's shoot mad that he has to do that. Because like,
yeah.
There's just no energy. It's not even like these guys come on.
Oh, no. This was shoot. Like, he was pissed.
Rey gets hit with a wheelbarrow facebuster, but hits a nice Hurricane Rana shortly thereafter. Rey does the fake dive to the outside like a 619, and then vaults Lenny onto the apron, then dives over Lenny onto Lodi on the floor.
These guys are covered in glitter, we should say, too. Like, not even, like, strategically placed glitter, you know, like with girls that go to Coachella or whatever. This is just smacked on glitter.
This is the accidentally opened a Christmas card from Grandma glitter.
Yeah.
Lenny hits a nice top rope dive to the floor. I'm like, oh shit, buddy. Ray then hits a Bronco Buster, and mid Bronco Buster, Sid comes out, and in a great camera shot, you just see his hand grab Ray by the throat. Like,
yeah.
Like a close-up on Ray's face, like, oh shit.
It was pretty good.
He then choke slams Ray. We then get a double choke slam to Lenny and Lodi, and a powerbomb to Ray. And it looks like he's going to go for a second one, but then suddenly Sting comes down to make the save.
Suddenly Sting.
Hogan limp runs down to the ring, kind of weirdly.
Yeah, did Hogan, like, hurt himself? Did we miss something?
I don't know. Remember we were saying he kind of tweaked his knee a couple weeks ago, but
he had a pay-per-view last week.
Yeah, it hasn't really been prominent in anything.
Yeah.
And it's not really prominent later, but then again, he moves slow enough to where we just don't notice. Sid goes to ringside and chuckles and was like, aha, it's part of my plan. Like, if you're a kid, just bail to ringside and tap the temple. Like, aha.
All part of the plan. It's all coming together. But the crowd goes absolutely feral when Hogan comes down.
Yeah.
This man is so over, and I just don't get why.
Mean Gene gets in the ring, but Sid just talks first. Mean Gene, very unnecessary in this segment.
Yeah.
Sid says that Hogan don't want none of this.
Hogan don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
I want Sid to sing AJ Styles' theme song. If someone can, mash that up, like, submit it to Botchamania. Why not?
There you go. Yeah, they'll do better work with it than we will.
Hogan says he's glad that Sid bailed to the outside because he wants Sid to be at 100% because Hogan's going to kick his ass.
I'ma kick your ass.
Hogan then says Sting is the reason Kevin Nash is gone, and he's like, oh, the reason for a lot of things. I was trying to figure out what he was giving Sting credit for, and I really kind of couldn't figure it out.
He was just kind of saying, like, this is my boy, and he's why I've become so successful.
And again, they're
not friends, are they?
They're not boys.
Well, maybe, like, behind the scenes they're buddies, but, like,
even then.
They're not buddies.
Like, yeah, in kayfabe, it's like, you were the NWO heel until, like, 2 months ago?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, and Sid kind of hated you when you were in the NWO,
yeah,
so...
But now we're besties.
I think he's referred to Sid multiple times, and I think does tonight as well as his best friend, and I'm like,
aww.
Yeah, your best friend? Okay.
They're my best friend.
Fucking Ed Leslie's backstage, like, what the fuck, dude?
What the fuck, man? I'm your bestie in a Tessie.
Hogan offers Sting a title shot next week in Las Vegas, and Sting then formally accepts. He's like, we're friends right now, but next week I'm going to kick your ass, brother.
Dude, brother.
And, yeah, Gene was here.
Yeah, why was Gene here? Gene was there to provide a microphone. I think that was it.
I think Gene really made this more messy than it needed to be.
Well, because it's Gene, and he has that same thing that Hogan and Flair and Savage have, where he feels the need to have the last word for some unknown reason.
And I kind of get why you did it now, but it seemed weird to hype up, hey, next week we're going to do Hogan versus Sting for the title, but we also have a title match tonight. So, like, if Sid wins, what happens?
No.
Yeah, they haven't thought that far ahead. So let's, before we move on to the next match, let's do a little Rey Mysterio update.
There's a Rey Mysterio update?
In this timeline, because on Thunder, they will do a rematch of this for the Cruiserweight title again. And Lenny Lane will pin Rey Mysterio for the title.
That's why he's pissed.
With minimal interference.
Oh, that's why he's
very
pissed.
Ray does cut a mildly homophobic promo beforehand.
Well,
I think it's too vague for me to fully understand if it's homophobic or not.
They're not gay.
Yeah, something about Hershey and fudge is part of the promo or something.
Now I'm just curious.
But yeah, so come next Nitro, Lenny Lane is your new Cruiserweight champion.
And you're telling me that they give a shit about the Cruiserweight division? Remember this whole argument that we had after Road Wild? We were talking about, like, oh, they don't pay attention to the Cruiserweight or the TV title. You think they care? You think they're not trying to evaporate this title?
Oh, and on that episode, they note, like, oh yeah, Ray, this reign is like the longest Cruiserweight title reign of all time. 1, it's not. 2, it's like, yeah, he's defended it like twice.
Oh my god.
I think the longest reign, he's not far off of it, but it's like, I think it's like 110 days, the longest reign. It's like they really don't keep that on people for long.
No.
So we'll see what the future holds for Ray, because now he's free from that, but he, at least he has some friends to move him forward.
It breaks my heart that Rey Mysterio stays in WCW until the bitter end.
Yeah.
He's too loyal for his own good. He needs to get the hell out of here.
You never know what his contract's like.
I know.
I want to say he was one of the people on the Time Warner contracts too. That's why he doesn't show up during the invasion.
Oh, yeah. That's honestly okay, though. He didn't need to be part of the invasion.
Moving on to match number 5. It's the ICP with Raven and Vampiro versus final appearance, Public Enemy.
Unless you're asking Bobby Heenan, it's Vampira.
Yes, I don't know why.
Bobby cannot figure out how to say Vampiro.
Well, Vampiro also does not look happy to be here either.
But that also might just be his character. They're the Deadpool. They're like...
I don't know. He's supposed to be supporting his boys.
He's still grungy. He's still like, I hate the world.
Well, speaking of his boys, Violent J has dyed his hair green.
Yeah. I do like, though, on commentary, they made the same note that I made. I don't know if I made it on the podcast or not, but they made a comment when the 2 ICP guys came down that the bald one is ironically named Shaggy. And then they go to Violent J and they're like, this one, not Shaggy. Like, yeah, it's weird. That should be the other way around. I'm with you. So I'm happy that someone else validated my thoughts, even if it's Bobby Heenan.
I mean, they're not changing their name each week. Like, they probably came up with that a while ago.
Did they come up with it when Shaggy had hair?
I don't know. Maybe.
Or is it ironic? Maybe it's ironic.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Public Enemy come down to the ring with 2 tables and stack them up on the outside during their entrance. Yeah, this is their last appearance for us. Their actual last television appearance will be on the Thunder after the next Nitro, where they will lose a handicap match to Sid. And they'll complain about it during a meeting, and I think they should pretty much get fired after that.
Yay.
All 4 men start in the ring, and everything kind of comes to a halt, but there's sizable ICP chants. I'm like, okay, they're over.
Good for them. But also, all 4 in the ring, it's a tag match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no one seemed to really care for a little while.
Well, when they set the tables at ringside, I'm like, oh, is it like a tornado tag? Is it no DQ? Like, nope, just takes a minute to get everything sorted.
Because it's outside the ring, doesn't that like make it okay to use the tables, though?
No, not normally. Just because something's on the
because
outside.
It's outside and it was the non-legal guys.
No, just because something happens on the outside does not mean it's legal.
What if it happens around the outside?
The camera goes to zoom in on the ICP having a chat, and Vampiro comes over and is like, no. You don't come over here. You don't come over here unless Bobby Heenan says it's okay. And Bobby Heenan's like, what? I think Bobby was not ready for that kind of joke or story progression. It's like, sure.
I loved it because like I loved Vampiro's like seriousness because it sounded like he was scolding the cameraman.
Yeah,
but it was so in character. Like he wasn't actually. It was like, unless Bobby the Brain Heenan, like the full name, unless Bobby the Brain Heenan sends you over to our little huddle, you don't come over. You're not invited. It's not for you. I love it.
This is a very nothing match, and Rocco Rock does not seem interested in selling during this match.
No, you made note of that.
Nor does really Johnny Grunge, because he gets his leg grabbed by Raven real lazily, and then like gets punched and just like lazily falls to the floor. And I'm like, are they gassed? But
are they Pete gassed?
Rocco Rock hits a top rope Frankensteiner. I'm like, okay. Shaggy 2 Dope gets laid across the table at ringside, and Rocco splashes him through the tables, kind of diving over Grunge's shoulders. The ref then suddenly decides to really get in Violent J's face, like, you're not the legal man. You need to get back on the apron. This results in a ref bump, and then Vampiro comes in, hits Grunge with the nail in the coffin, and then the ref, who was just yelling at Violent J, sees him pinning someone and goes, that's fine. And like very like dramatically, like I'm dying, counts to 3. And like a fucking carny, Johnny Grunge kicks out at 3.
I know. I thought that like this was a botched finish for some reason, but it was absolutely after 3. Like, was this supposed to keep going?
I thought it was even touched before. No, this was not meant to keep going. This is him trying to get his heat back, brother.
Oh.
Like, well, you just barely beat me.
No.
This match was not great, Bob.
No, and I wanted it to be better. I feel like that's kind of my sentiment for a lot of stuff. It's like, I just want it to be better.
Yeah, it's very much the Public Enemy, and we didn't really see much of them. I think we saw them like 3 times, and I'm like, I'm glad we're done with them. Yeah,
we really didn't see them a lot. You're right. They just kind of like appeared and then disappeared. Remember, I referred to them as like the Dudleys before the Dudleys knew they were the Dudleys.
Yeah.
They never were.
I think that was like the second time we saw them.
Yeah.
Because they debuted in WCW, or I guess, or returned if they'd been there before, during the hardcore brawl at the dump.
Yeah, that big arena.
Yeah, and so don't call it an arena.
They turned the dump into an arena.
Arenas are usually safer than that.
Well, yeah.
And yeah, they're gone, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm not sad in the slightest. I don't think we'll even miss them.
Nope.
No.
We go from that to the Nitro girls.
Woo, and they have sparkly polka dot jackets.
Yes. And then Mean Gene brings out Harlem Heat. Speaking of notable fashion, Booker T rocking the button-down hoodie vest.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. Booker thanks DDP for helping them become the 8-time, you get it, tag team champions. Gene notes that Stevie Ray abandoned the NWO, to which Stevie Ray calls them fruit booties.
Them rooty-tooty candy asses.
He challenges anyone in the back, and Booker says they're going to turn this mother out.
Okay.
And that's it.
And that's all.
You know, usually when you challenge people, they come out then.
They didn't call anybody out, though. They just called in whoever.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm saying, like,
it was
hey,
an open thing, but...
who wants to fight? No one came out, and they let, all right, we'll leave then.
Well, we're gonna turn it out anyway.
We'll see these guys a little bit later. Then get another Berlin vignette, and when it's over, commentary is like, this brand new athlete.
No.
It's like, you noted last time that it's Alex Wright.
Yeah, they like panned him in the audience dressed as Berlin, and we're like, wait, is that Alex Wright?
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying when they were doing the vignettes, like in the past 2 or 3 weeks, they're like, Alex Wright with a new
Have they
look.
been doing these vignettes for the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think you missed one of them, and then I think it was cut for some reason one
Yeah,
of the
I
weeks.
haven't remembered. I haven't noted them. But like, you remember months ago at this point,
Yeah.
him in the audience, and everyone's like, you might see this guy looking a little familiar.
Would have been like April or May.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's Alex Wright in a brand new get-up. But now he's a brand new athlete.
I can't really describe what happened to my body with what happened next. I think the closest I can say is a cold chill went down my spine as I heard the NWO theme.
Honestly, yeah. Nick, like, perked up. Like, his whole body went rigid and looked at the TV like, what's happening?
I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, but I'm just like, oh God, this is still happening.
Which we all thought that this was dead. This was dead in the water. Or at least I thought.
Well, we'll talk about that after their match later. But Horace Hogan, Bryan Adams, Vincent, and...
Scott Norton.
Yes, thank you. They all come out. Horace cuts a promo, runs down Harlem Heat. Norton then has the mic, and he says he might give Stevie Ray his spot back if he begs.
I don't think
but
Stevie
actually,
Ray wants the spot.
But actually, no. It's like, he literally doesn't even give it a breath. Also, Stevie Ray was the leader.
I don't think he wants the spot back, though.
Yeah.
He's fine on his own.
Bryan Adams then kind of grabs the mic and he's like, okay, me and Vincent will take out Harlem Heat. And then the other three just like beat him down after he sassed Norton a little bit. It was like, okay.
I couldn't even like pinpoint the sass. Because like, they were just kind of standing there.
Yeah, it wasn't super notable.
No.
And Horace Hogan's like, all right, you're out of the black and white or whatever. And it's like, okay.
Okay, bye.
Like former NWO. So apparently Adams is out of the NWO, and we'll get the other three in a match later tonight.
So they're just like picking off the NWO one by one, it seems.
Pretty much.
Just waiting for it to dissolve itself.
We then get Mean Gene in the ring again, and
With my boy!
he has a surprise guest. It's Billy Kidman.
My boy! I was so excited when he got to get on a promo.
And what does Gene call him?
What did he call him?
A chick magnet.
Oh, he is a chick magnet.
CM Kidman over here.
Oh, I didn't even put that together. He is a chick magnet, though. I mean, look at him. He's lovely. And he said he's already like dating Tori Wilson at this point too. So like, come on.
I think so. I don't claim to know their whole dating life.
But the fact that they did date says a lot about Billy Kidman.
So yeah, I don't know exactly when, but it definitely seems like around this time, according to Wikipedia, because they're like after being together for 4 years, they marry in 2003. So this would be that year
that they'd start getting together.
Yeah.
It's so cute. I love him so much.
Gene also notes that Kidman is forming a little bit of a clique backstage. He's like, yep, it's me, Eddie, Ray, and Conan.
I love that. I don't love Conan, but I love that.
And Kidman, I don't know if it's intentional or accidental, but he gives them a name. There's a bunch of filthy animals.
I think that was unintentional, but now it's stuck.
I would say, I think it's intentional because who the fuck just randomly drops that verbiage? Yeah, we're a bunch of filthy animals, you know?
Well, when did that movie come out?
I'll be honest, I don't know if it's actually from an old movie in which Home Alone references it, or if Home Alone made a fake old movie. But Home Alone's from like 89. I think the second one is from 92-ish.
So it might be in the like pop culture vernacular.
No, it's...
Maybe. I don't know.
Also, that might just be, a phrase, but doesn't necessarily need to be a reference to this random, 50s might even be generous. It might even be like the 30s or 40s.
I don't know.
Gene then kind of out of nowhere is like, the ladies love you. Have you seen the Nitro Girls pay-per-view? He's like,
have I seen it? The question's not have I seen it, it's how many times have I seen it?
And Gene's like, like 70 times? Like, more than that, but don't tell anybody. It's like, you fucking pervert.
Disgusting.
Also,
William.
Imagine if he had to pay for it every time.
Yeah, how much money do you think he was giving his employer?
Let's just say he watched it 20 times and it was a $20 pay-per-view. It was probably more than that. That's $400 on just jerking off.
Ugh. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in my boy.
The internet's going to do wonders for him. Gene then asks, do you have a favorite Nitro girl? Kidman's response is like, all right, he helped me out a lot through my career, so no disrespect to Dallas, but, Kimberly is fine.
Kimberly is fine.
In so many words.
Kimberly is hot. But you know who doesn't like that?
Fucking DDP, because not only does he come out, he comes out like from the side, like it's a shoot. Like, what the fuck are you talking?
What would you say about my wife? Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
That was the energy.
It really was.
And actually, it works because he slaps him.
Oh my god, you already does? Oh no! Oh, we blew our load on that joke 2 episodes ago. Now, inspired. To
be fair, it was timely when we recorded and not timely by the time the episode came out. Now it's very dated. I do have to give Kidman a little bit of shit.
Yeah?
You ask your favorite Nitro girl, you're not going to pick Spice? What the fuck?
That's true. Spice is spunky.
I thought you were a man of taste, Billy Kidman. Turns out you're just a pervert who watched the Nitro Girls pay-per-view over fucking
20 times.
Yeah. Minimum. They just said more than 17. But when DDP comes out, the first words out of his mouth are, what the hell are you talking about? Which kind of fair.
Honestly, yeah.
Kidman tries to cool things down, but DDP is like, you don't even know how to spell respect. And I think he slaps him after the S.
He goes R-E-S slap. And then Bobby on commentary goes, S is for slap. P is for put down. And then he stops. I want him to do the whole word.
DDP hits a Uranagi type move and then calls for a ref, and this is now a match. We get a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to Kidman. DDP's flaily elbow drop now has a lot more thrusting in it, and I don't like it.
Thrusting.
DDP counters Kidman faction and then hits a spinning powerbomb. It was not countered into a facebuster.
Which, to the shock of us all.
He then goes for the pin, but, oh no, go school.
Go school, boy. Talk about my wife, boy. Go school, boy.
We get a double-A spinebuster from DDP, and then he signals for the diamond cutter, but instead of actually going for the diamond cutter, he puts Kidman on his shoulders to hit like a TKO. And I'm like, okay. Kidman then rolls through and gets the pin.
My hero.
Yeah, not a very decisive win for him, but he gets the win over DDP.
I mean, yeah, this wasn't really like a planned match. This was just like a situational match.
DDP then hits a diamond cutter to the ref, and Kidman jumps on his back, and DDP turns it into like a diamond cutter stunner kind of sloppy looking thing. DDP then whips Kidman with a belt and then like chokes the shit out of him with it.
He needs to chill, dude. Until
Kimberly comes down and is like, fucking relax, dude. Holy shit.
You should have looked into some yoga, DDP.
Yeah, seriously. It was nice to see Kidman get a win here.
Yeah, and him getting some mic time, even though it was, pervy.
I guess they're going to go for, Triad versus the Filthy Animals. But then again...
That would make sense.
But later we get the Revolution and the Triad. So, I don't know. They are trying to juggle multiple stories for better or worse.
Yeah. This is kind of at the point of the night where I noted how many matches we have on this card. Because, on an average episode, we're getting, 9? Give or take?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Maybe 8 or 9?
Yeah. So we're getting 12. It just feels exhausting.
Yeah, it's 4 per hour.
Yeah. Which doesn't sound that bad when you break it up like that, but it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, especially when there's not a ton of story going into each of these. And in that same vein, next up is the Disco Inferno coming out with a mic, and he's like, I don't want to join the Filthy Animals, and he pretends he's the present and future superstar of WCW. Chris Benoit then comes out, just interrupts him, and is like, all right, you want to like prove you're good? Come fucking wrestle me.
Come be good.
Benoit goes to the ring and is like, all right, I'm waiting. Disco has the mic and agrees. And he says he's going to get a Brooklyn, New York tushy kicking.
It feels like Disco Inferno's talking a lot more than he usually does. Am I wrong in that?
I mean, every now and again he gets to cut a promo.
This was just a lot to me. Like, it's not bad necessarily. It's just I don't hear him on mic very often.
Match starts. Benoit just chops the shit out of Disco.
And they're loud.
Benoit dominates early on, including a double snot rocket.
Which commentary called a handful of snot. Which just, ew.
And a near crossface until Disco bails to the outside and slams Benoit like onto the ropes. Like, ooh.
This is a hard-hitting match.
Running neckbreaker from Disco, and he starts working over Benoit, including a dancing diving elbow and a nice Russian leg sweep. Very loose rest hold from Disco after that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, had the chin lock, but the chin, like the arm was just in front of Benoit's face.
You could see the air between the chin and the lock.
During this, though, and maybe it's because it looked so bad, there's a large Disco sucks chance. Benoit gets fired up and hits chops, followed up with a German suplex, and then more chops.
Man loves to chop.
As opposed to the triple German, we get the triple verticals, aka the three amigos from Chris Benoit. He then signals for a headbutt, and Disco Inferno is like all the way across the ring.
This was a long jump, yeah.
Yeah. Benoit hits the diving headbutt, gets the pin.
Woo!
This was a pretty good match. It was a nice Benoit showcase.
It was very hard hitting. You could really hear the chopping. Like,
yeah, it did cement that it's like, okay, Benoit's in the league above Disco, but I didn't feel like oh, Disco's buried.
Right. This was more like a show me what you got kind of match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which not a bad thing.
But once again, it doesn't feel like this is connected to any story. This seemed to be like a one night kind of story.
Yeah, probably. A lot of these kind of felt like that.
Before they go to break, they actually note like, okay, coming up next is Goldberg.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, that's good. It's not quite what Raw is doing now, where they have the countdown to Cody, but
do they really do that on every episode?
at least a good amount of them now.
That's narcissistic. That's ego feeding.
So I've lost track of what number match this is, but our next match is Barry Windham with Bobby Duncombe Jr. and Kendall Windham versus Goldberg.
This is number 8.
The Rednecks come out to the I Hate Rap theme, which I'm like,
good.
Are they ever going to use that one again?
I hope not. I mean, it wasn't a bad song. It's just not I Hate Rap.
No. Goldberg comes out to his Megadeth theme, further confusing what the fuck he's going to come out to each week.
I have no idea. And like, I'm still confused by this because it's not dubbed. Like, it was dubbed for so long. Why is it no longer dubbed?
It's been alternating, I feel like, so I don't have a reason for it.
It's stupid.
Goldberg clears all three men, jackhammer to Windham, pin.
This was the quickest Goldberg match. Like, we knew it was going to be quick because it's a Goldberg match. Like, classic.
Yeah, it's
Goldberg.
4 moves.
Yeah. Was it even 4?
He does something to Bobby Duncombe. He spears Kendall Windham, spears Barry Windham, and then hits a jackhammer on Barry Windham.
Jeez.
That's it. Which, like, the energy of this was fun enough, but I'm like, okay, you need to do something else with Goldberg. Like, he's been killing dudes. And I gave you a day to think about it. I'm sure you forgot.
Yep.
Emily, since losing his streak, can you name 3 things Goldberg has done?
I really wish I could. I have no idea.
Number one thing I'm surprised you forgot was the stun stick.
Is that not since the finger poke, though?
That's after, because remember, he got stunned there, and then him and Scott Hall did the ladder match.
I think of all that as the same storyline.
Well, it's the same storyline. I'm saying since the actual finger poke.
Well, the stun stick is like a carryover, so to me that's the same.
I'm saying the ladder match with Hall at the next pay-per-view.
Okay. The whole stun stick thing was just all a blur.
Seems like he's on a collision course with Sid, but he doesn't seem to be acknowledging that right now.
Yeah, no. I'd like to see him and Sid against each other.
How do you feel about seeing our next match?
This is my answer.
Okay. It is Scott Norton, Vincent, and Horace Hogan, a.k.a. the B-Team, versus Harlem Heat. Stevie Ray comes down with his straps down, and it looks kind of weird, because, like, in the center of his chest, when his gear is normal, there's, like, a big ring.
Yeah.
So it just looks weird when it's down.
So what's funny is, like, the big ring kind of thing in it. You're saying, like, the thing that connects them, right?
Yeah.
So in the early 2000s, J-Lo went very viral for a look that incorporated that. It looked like a green tie-dyed one-piece bathing suit, but like into a dress with that kind of a ring in the middle. So that's what I always just see bathing suit when I see that kind of style.
Okay.
Women's bathing suit.
Stevie Ray and Vincent start strike heavy. Shocking. And they botch a press slam. It's real dodgy looking for a minute there.
They botch it, but nobody gets hurt. So
no, it's a
it
matter
looked
of
bad, but it didn't end up bad.
They kind of turned it into like basically a scoop slam because if he had tried to press him, I think one or both of them would have gotten hurt.
Yeah, which is good that neither of them did, which means that Booker is a consummate professional.
No, it's Stevie Ray.
Was it Stevie Ray?
Yeah, Booker wouldn't botch like that, please. Scott Norton tags in, works over Stevie. We then get Horace and Booker in the ring, and I'm like, that's probably the best case scenario for this match.
Yeah.
You get a scissor kick and then a spin-a-rooney, which I feel like we haven't seen in...
No, we really haven't.
Then a Harlem sidekick, but the heels break up the pin. Flying forearm, and Booker tags in Stevie Ray, who hits a sidewalk slam. Stevie Ray hits a big boot after Norton misses his interference spot.
He's really not doing much of anything in this match.
Yeah, Stevie backs up and like bounce off the ropes, and Scott Norton very much was supposed to hit him there because they immediately repeat the spot and Norton kicks him.
It was... Scott Norton just has checked out mentally, emotionally, and physically. Like, he does not care about what's going on in the ring. He does not care to be here.
Once Stevie Ray is down, Bryan Adams comes out, just blatantly interferes in this match. I'm like, DQ?
Nick Patrick couldn't care less.
Yeah, he is in the ring cleaning house, and Nick Patrick's like, it's fine.
That's fine.
He attacks all three members of the NWO, doesn't lay a hand on the Harlem Heat. Booker hits a missile drop.
Still shouldn't matter, though, right? It should have still been a DQ.
Oh, yeah, the NWO should have won by DQ.
Okay.
I mean, they won't win the title, but I think the title was kind of on the line. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Booker hits a missile drop kick, and the Harlem Heat win. Yeah, this was meh.
I'm done with the B team. I've been saying this for months.
Well, according to Wikipedia, this is the end of the B team.
Thank God.
Horace and Scott Norton will team together on Thunder, but...
In their NWO gear?
Horace is in the same thing. Scott Norton's in the same thing, which just has the little NWO logo on the back.
Yeah.
But then again, it's taped 2 days later, so they might not have new gear. But yeah, for some reason, Wikipedia just lists this date as the end of the B team.
Okay. End of the B team on TV that matters.
Yes. Good.
Fuck them.
And this is our last appearance of Scott Norton.
Thank God.
And I swear to God, when he came out, I literally pointed at the screen and I'm like, who is that? And you didn't remember again. And I'm
Thank
like,
God.
How? I will say he'll be missed, but he'll be forgotten.
He's already been forgotten.
Gone, and who was that?
Sorry, Scott.
Gone, but 100% forgotten.
Gone, but I already forgot your relevance.
Honestly, here and 100% forgotten.
Yeah.
Quick, who are we talking about,
Emily? I don't remember. Bryan Adams.
Well, speaking of Bryan Adams, there is a bit that Peacock does not include.
Okay.
Post-match, Bryan Adams goes to leave the arena and gets into a limo.
Okay.
And they show the limo's license plate has 4 letters. KISS.
Oh, shit.
Yep. I think they cut it because I'm guessing it's cut from next week's episode as well. Kiss is performing next week.
Yeah. They said that on the commentary.
They mention it twice. I'm guessing on the original night, they said it a crap ton.
Yeah.
And there were vignettes and all that because I find it interesting that they cut that from Peacock.
Do you think we're not going to see Kiss?
Oh, we're going to see Kiss. I have the file. We're going to watch Kiss.
Okay.
I just don't know there's anything else with it. I know it's one of the lowest rated segments in Nitro history because no one cares. But
no one cares about Kiss?
I mean, not on Nitro. Or Nitro cares, but...
That's still mind-boggling to me because Kiss is massive.
I don't know when Kiss's peak is, but I think this might be...
80s, I think.
I think this is peak Kiss just putting their name on anything and everything.
I don't know enough about their history and their marketing history, I guess. But to me, Kiss is huge. So you saying this is the lowest rated segment on Nitro, that's mind-boggling.
No, Kiss was a good band, and then they just hit a point where they went, I mean, if we're going to sell out,
capitalism,
we're selling all the way out. Yeah. Where it's everything. Oh, yeah, you want to pay us for this? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Which means next week we will get the debut of the Kiss Demon.
Thank God.
In which I don't know when this will happen. Part of the contract for the Kiss Demon, he must be in one pay-per-view main event.
Okay.
So I know that will eventually happen. I don't know when.
Okay. It would make sense for it to be like Halloween Havoc. That's a little far out.
Well, not to totally spoil it, but to totally spoil it, they're going to do a WrestleMania main event type thing where it's like, oh, there's like 3 main events. So he's in the main event.
Gotcha.
Or like a special main event. I think it's like second on the card. It's like, oh, a special main event. I wish it had been a Nitro. They just play the Nitro theme after that. Like, oh, it's a new episode. But yeah, this is it for the NWO as we know it.
I'm not sad. Why would I be sad?
I think about the journey that group has been on, because we started and it was Hulk Hogan.
Everyone was in the NWO.
You couldn't go more than 6 minutes without the NWO
hearing
theme.
That
Right?
fucking Nick had the audacity to say I should walk down the aisle to the NWO theme.
No, to a piano version of the NWO theme. And I wanted her to do the Razor Ramon walk.
No.
But yeah, we went from them being the number one focus on the card to
barely an afterthought.
Yeah, to the big merger where it was just like, oh yeah, really in passing again the whole time. It was like, oh yeah, we were in on it.
Yeah.
They really just let that go in passing.
Good.
And then yeah, the Wolfpack I guess the Wolfpack's gone too, because no more Kevin Nash. No one else is coming out in that gear.
Scott Hall's going to come back and revive it.
Maybe. Emily, we're not done with the NWO. I don't know when, but they'll be back.
Brother. I know they're back after the invasion.
Yes.
I know that. But that's in WWE.
Yes. Well, let's move on to our 10th match, I want to say. It's Rick Steiner versus Brian Knobbs with Jimmy Hart.
My boy.
Rick has a mic and he rules the dog pound. And if you don't like him, bite him. We had a conspiracy theory when he was coming out to the ring. Because Rick Steiner is still the television champion. And I literally had to turn to you and ask, did he come out with this title? And you're like, yeah, he did. And we rewound. He only shows the back of his title. And then they like only show him in close up and don't show the title. I'm like, are you holding like the US belt or something?
He's not holding the right belt.
Yeah.
Because it is weird that he didn't even like glance at the front of it.
Yeah, it's like in '92 when Ric Flair came over to WWE with the big gold belt, and they're like, okay, well you can't use that on TV. So they gave him like a tag belt and just blurred it that way. It's like, it's the same thing. You don't know.
You're right. Yeah.
So Brian Knobbs, Jimmy Hart come out, and I'm like, God, remember the hardcore division? Remember when that was a thing?
I really do miss it. I would love a hardcore match right now because like this is the point in the show where I'm like, there's too many matches. I'm getting tired. I would love a hardcore match to break it up and just be like chaos.
Are they just waiting for Finlay to get back?
How much longer is he out? I
think we said December. We looked at it a while ago. I think he just got like another surgery, so I think he's going to be out longer. But yeah, I don't know what they're waiting for.
But no, the first hour of this show was really fun and really upbeat and fast paced. I'm sleepy at this point.
Yeah, I think it also helped that there was like a narrative through line through the first hour of the show, and then
why they didn't continue it.
Well, you can't have Sid interfere in what if there had been 12 matches and Sid interfered in 11 of them, and then he was in match 12.
Maybe if he didn't interfere in every match, but after every match or every 2 matches, maybe you have like a vignette of him like fucking something up backstage. Like it doesn't have to be ruin every match, but have him as a character throughout.
Yeah. And
then the big moment at the end where he finally gets to go up against Hogan. Like that would be a good through line.
Do like a 3-minute warning type thing where he basically says, all right, if any match goes longer than, 4 minutes, I'm going to come down and fuck shit up.
Yeah. There could have been a through line. They just decided to not have that after the first hour. So
Rick attacks Knobbs as he gets in the ring, and Rick is wrestling in a dog collar for some reason, and he's just stiffing the shit out of Brian Knobbs.
Yeah, he is. It's rough.
Rick chokes Knobbs with his jacket, and the ref warns him after counting to 4. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, come on.
Stop it. Okay. As you're like 5, 6, 7. What the fuck?
I'm going to point the finger of blame in a different direction than you think. This is Rick Steiner's fault.
Why?
The ref can't just go, oh yeah, never mind, DQ, ruin the fucking match.
Why not?
You're not supposed to. It's an entertainment show.
If we're if we're making believe that this is a real sport and a real athletic endeavor, and there are rules, then the rules need to be upheld.
And do you know who's not upholding the rules?
The ref.
Rick Steiner. He should be releasing when he gets to 4. It's Rick Steiner's fault because he keeps going.
No, it's the referee's fault for not upholding the rules. If Rick Steiner fucks up, that's on Rick Steiner. He ruins his own match.
It's funny you say that because WWE actually like
Brett screwed Brett, Nick.
Where the fuck did that go?
I'm just saying, like, if Rick were to mess up his own match, it's his own fault.
Where's that referee? He was trying to fuck on me. No, but that story comes from a time where it's like call it like a shoot. Companies flip-flop on that.
That's not fair. If we're pretending that this is real, if we are sitting here and pretending that what we are watching is real punches and real hits and real, real wrestling, then let's make it real. Somehow.
Yeah, I always love the companies that don't do the call like a shoot, where dude is knocked out and it's like 1, 2, gets like 99% of the way down and goes, oh, he kicked out. Like he didn't flinch. He's dead.
Oh my God.
Count to 100.
He still won't get up. Call an ambulance.
Yeah. I saw a clip of that happened with the Young Bucks recently. And so he had him pinned, and then, he counted to 2.9. The guy didn't kick out. So one of them just goes, count again. And he counts to 3. And he just goes, count again. And he had him just keep counting to 3. And I'm like, okay, that works.
Oh, my God.
I imagine there's some shoot frustration there, but it actually worked as like a funny bit. Knobs gets a bit of offense in this match, but you know who's going to win. Steiner whips Knobs with the dog collar and then puts him in the camel clutch with the dog collar. I'm like, DQ?
Yeah, that was rough.
And they actually use the excuse of like, he did something similar at Road Wild and it was fine. And I'm like,
that doesn't make it okay.
That's not precedence. Oh, we didn't note, by the way, Goldberg not wearing the knee brace that he wore 2 nights previous.
He's healed.
Despite having the knee brace taken off and having his knee worked over with it, which means it should actually be more sore than usual.
He clearly doesn't need the brace because they took it off and he was fine. So, he doesn't need it. He's completely healed. It's magic. You don't believe in medicine, Nick?
No, apparently not. In this match, like Steiner has heat with the crowd and then Brian Knobbs gets on offense and he has none.
Yeah.
We get another 4 count followed by a warning as opposed to a 5.
Yep.
A smattering of boring chants, I want to say.
I didn't even hear that.
Well, Knobbs hits a flying nothing from the second rope.
Yeah, well.
So they do a spot where Brian Knobbs gets like tossed into the corner and Jimmy Hart goes to hit Rick Steiner, but it's accidentally Brian Knobbs. And not to be outdone from the stiff shots in the opening bit, Jimmy Hart accidentally stiffs the absolute fuck out of Brian Knobbs here and like busts him open hard way.
Yeah, he was just gushing blood by the end of this match. It looked like it hurt.
Steiner Bulldog and Rick gets the win.
To a very bloody, bloody man.
I miss the days when I was really enjoying Rick Steiner.
They were fleeting.
Like early on when I was like, fuck, Rick Steiner's a star here. I don't like what happened to him.
But by the time he said that, he disappeared. And then...
Well, I was saying that at Halloween Havoc. Like the first night I was like, oh shit. Like,
yeah, but he didn't stick around.
He got hurt shortly thereafter.
Yeah, so we really didn't get to like see him much.
Like before Starrcade, I want to say.
Yeah.
Because they brought in Judy.
Oh, Judy.
I remember asking at the time, like, oh, like, what are they going to do with him? And internally, I'm like, why don't I know more about Rick Steiner? And I'm like, this is why.
Yeah. Does he go back to WWF?
I don't think so at any point, minus literally the Hall of Fame that just happened this past year. Yeah. I don't think they bring him in for anything because where we're at and watching SmackDown, Scott Steiner just signed with Raw. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't think they bring in Rick at all. Well,
go enjoy your Shonies.
Oh, and I meant to note previously, I'm just remembering random bits now. Scott Norton wrestled during 2022.
Really?
Yes.
Where?
I don't know, somewhere. Like, oh shit.
I would go to a show to see him and be like, oh, who's that indie guy?
So I don't think we're going to go, but Emily has been wanting to go to another live show since we went to a SmackDown house show.
Oh, yes.
And the only upcoming show is CZW.
CZW?
Yep.
What is that?
Combat Zone Wrestling.
Ooh.
It's the picture death matches.
Ooh, no.
I know. And
I don't think so.
I did want to take you, like, we're going to a wrestling show. And then you just be like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, no.
This is CZW.
I'm happy with the WWE show that we went to, though, because at least I got to see Sasha live.
Yeah, might not get that chance again.
I'd like to go to an AEW show.
Yeah, we'll see where she ends up. You never know how long her contract is.
I know. But just in general, I'd like to go to an AEW show.
Moving on to this Nitro, we have a very long Randy Savage, Dennis Rodman pay-per-view clip.
We literally fast-forwarded through it.
Yeah, Randy Savage, not here tonight.
Nope.
Won't be here next week, I don't think. And weirdly enough, on Peacock, it advertises that Randy Savage will, like, talk about the Dennis Rodman match. He doesn't. He's not there.
Damn. He's just done. He's over it.
I think we see him again in, like, October or something.
Jeez.
For, like, one appearance, and that's it. All right, we're almost at the main event, Emily.
Oh my god, we have another match!
And I think both of us died a bit during this one. It is Perry Saturn versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
This is the match where they mentioned Kiss is coming next week.
Yes.
Yes. But also...
But I noted it was during the match,
yeah.
so I wonder if they were cutting all the, like, hype segments and vignettes, but they didn't cut out this line.
Maybe.
But Bam Bam actually has a theme song. It's generic, but he has it.
He has music. We're proud of him.
And he gets Bam Bam Sucks chance to start.
This match, before Nick goes play-by-play, it's exactly what you think it's going to be. It is nothing special.
Yeah.
You don't even need to do play-by-play if you don't want to.
Yeah, we get a springboard moonsault to the outside on Bam Bam Bigelow. Aloha Bam Bam is denied, but Saturn dodges a booty drop.
I zoned out for a lot of this match. It was just boring. There was nothing happening that was exciting.
Bigelow seemingly goes for a superplex, but then just gives up and throws Saturn off the top rope and then just hits a falling headbutt from a standing position. Bam Bam works over Saturn, and it's really hard to care at this point. It's too many matches, not enough segments.
Yep.
Especially
this is what I've been saying.
Especially with this having, again, no real story. Springboard crossbody from Saturn after a ref bump. We get a T-bone suplex, and Canyon comes down on the apron. Saturn knocks him off and then immediately goes up to the top rope, and Canyon just recovers and then throws him off the top rope onto Bam Bam Bigelow.
He's immediately fine.
And I'm like, why even do the first spot then? So it's a really sloppy ending here because Bam Bam's going for the greetings from Asbury Park, which is like a side pile driver kind of thing.
Mm. And
Shane Douglas pushes Canyon off the top rope onto Bam Bam, which just looks like the New Day's finisher. Like Bam Bam's hitting a big ending, but it's like, oh no, that's Saturn landing on top of Bam Bam and getting the win. And it's like, what? And then Shane Douglas is like off the apron and Canyon's hitting elbow drops on Saturn. And then Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko run in and Shane Douglas is suddenly with them again. And the heels bail.
Yeah.
And it was just weird and bad right at the end. And the match wasn't anything terribly interesting.
It was very hard to follow, very hard to care about, very hard to even be remotely interested in.
Yeah.
Especially right at the end where it's like, okay, we're so close to being done.
Yeah, because
chugging along.
Well, because during the last match, they're like, "Oh, Hulk Hogan coming up later tonight." I'm like, that means he's not next.
Nope. I think they said like within the hour, and you're like, fuck.
So let's move in to our main event. We finally got here.
It is not Michael Buffer time.
It is not, but it is time for Sid Vicious versus Hulk Hogan for the WCW title, and Sid comes out to a different theme,
which it's different, and it's weird that it's different, but it slaps.
Well, here's the issue. Sid has the old theme on Thunder.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Well, this one slaps.
I like the other one better.
No, I like this one.
Commentary once again notes that Sid is 55-0.
So the number hasn't changed? I don't fucking know.
Sid attacks Hogan before the bell and works him over with strikes and even a scoop slam and a leg drop, which I noted because at the pay-per-view, they're like, he did a big boot. That's Hogan's move with Kevin Nash. Here, he does the leg drop. And they're like, leg drop there. It's like, I shouldn't even know if they call it. They just they don't care. Hogan suddenly hulks up and continues to be shit at people counting. And by that, I mean, notice this in Hulk Hogan matches. People like to count to 10 when you're doing the punch spot. He always just stops at an arbitrary number.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you count the 9, you do the big wind up, and then you do 10.
He likes to fuck with people.
He does like
he stopped at 7.
Yeah, it's like 6. It's like, oh, it was 7. he does this all the time. Like sometimes he's done it to like, he'll go to like 12 and I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Oh yeah, but that's like a recurring Hogan theme though. Like, rules do not apply to Hulk Hogan.
We'll get to that. Sid bails to the outside and claims that Hogan will fall to his brain.
He did the temple poke thing
Tap the
again.
temple.
Temple tap.
Sid slowly then goes back on offense. And on commentary, they note that Sid might actually be 59-0.
There we go.
Or I swear at one point they say he might even be 64-0.
Where'd you get 64?
I don't know, but I swear Bobby says that.
Don't trust anything Bobby says.
They go to the outside, and I was wondering how they were going to get around this, because I'm like, okay, I don't think they're putting the title on Sid here, but you can't have him lose. So Hogan just grabs a chair from ringside, hits Sid, and I'm like, okay, they're just going to do a DQ finish. No,
Nope.
There's no bell.
It's fine, shut up, don't worry about it.
Sid then gingerly hits Hogan with the chair. Like, oh, geez, that was a real crappy looking shot. And then gingerly, like, lays Hogan across the announce table, which doesn't lead to anything.
Gingerly.
Although there's the great line of commentary, completely just flabbergasted. He soaked us all with water. I'm like,
What water?
back in the ring, Nerve Hold immediately goes Magna with Sid. And Hogan hulks up again, this time almost in full, but gets hit with a clothesline. Sid then hits a choke slam, and then for some reason is like, I'm not going to pin him yet.
Yeah, why? Why not?
Okay, now I'm going to pin him.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, I mean,
It was stupid.
let me just give it like 6 seconds. That way, when Hogan kicks out, it doesn't make my choke slam look bad and shoot. Hogan then hulks up in full. We get a big boot, leg drop, goes for the pin. But no, it's Rick Steiner suddenly interfering.
This
and I'm
surprised me. I didn't expect it to be Rick Steiner.
like, how is this not a DQ loss?
Because fuck you, it's fine, shut up.
And I think the crowd feels a little cheated here because they just start chucking trash into the ring.
They really, yeah. And like, I remember there was one point where Nick was telling me that in some cases, throwing trash into the ring is a good thing.
If you're going for heel heat, it can be a good thing. When it's just the finish of your match, it's usually not a good sign.
Yeah.
So there's trash in the ring as Sting runs in to make the save. He brawls with Sid, and Hulk Hogan hits a leg drop on Rick Steiner, and then pins him.
And it counts!
And the bell fucking rings.
Ladies and
How?
gentlemen, you are experiencing Nick's Joker arc.
I like just started like I.
He can't form a word. We were watching this last night, and he just collapsed into a ball of anger and deep breaths. And literally what's happening right now, he just has his head against the microphone and just cannot form an opinion or words or feelings. The man was angry.
Again, just to say it out loud, the match of Hulk Hogan versus Sid Vicious is won by Hulk Hogan after pinning Rick Steiner. And a referee counts the pin and calls for the bell, and the bell rings. And this doesn't count against Sid's record because he didn't get
lose.
pinned, even though he was the one in the match. How? As if the streak wasn't fucky enough.
It's gonna be okay, babe. Deep breaths. In, out, out.
Hogan then hands Sting his title while he celebrates, and Sting's just fucking fine with it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm the champ, but like, you know, I want to go celebrate, so just hold on to this. It's like that's like the start of a heel turn for a better company.
Yeah. So,
Fuck me.
unfortunately, I don't hate this match because of that.
What the absolute insanity of the ending?
Yes.
I actually thought the match itself was better than the match they did the 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
And that is why I hate it. Not because it's better than the match they did 2 weeks ago. It's better than the match Hogan put on at the fucking pay-per-view.
Oh, well, yeah.
Hulk Hogan actually showed up for a Nitro. He didn't give two shits about the fucking pay-per-view. I hated that match with a fiery passion. I found myself enjoying this one. And this one was for just regular television.
I blame Kevin Nash.
I don't care who I have to blame. Somebody should be fired for that. There's no reason why the show after the big pay-per-view is better than the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. That just is infuriating. Like, I walked into this match and I'm like, I already know I'm going to hate this. And then when I started not hating it, I was like, I hate that I don't hate this. Because that means that Hulk Hogan is capable of putting on a good match, putting on an entertaining match. And he chose, it was a conscious decision at the pay-per-view to not do that. And I lose respect for that.
Yeah.
If I had any.
Yeah, I mean, I stand by. Like, I think a lot of that is Kevin Nash. Also, like, when you're about to quote-unquote retire, it's like, you're either in the camp of, I'm going to give this my all, or, fuck it, I'm done after this.
No, here's the thing, though, with that argument. Even if it was Kevin Nash just not putting on a good show, Hulk Hogan is a good enough performer that he could have carried it. Nash could have stood in the corner and done fuck all. But Hulk Hogan could have been entertaining. He could have showed up. He could have done fucking something. If Kevin Nash wanted to have a fuck off day, be my guest. You're going to retire? Who cares? Hulk Hogan is here for the long run. Show people that you give a shit. That's why I hated this match.
Okay. Let's move into Thunder before we fully close this out, because I want to just add a few more notes. As mentioned, Sid is apparently 61-0 going into Thunder, and he beats down a couple guys, and he says when he hits 76 wins, he's gonna shake all over.
Ew.
And he kind of implies when he gets to 76, he's going to tie Goldberg's record. And I'm like, what? Goldberg had 173 wins.
Yeah, I think he's just confused.
And I'm like, wait, is that why this story is so weird? Did they forget how many it was and they thought it was 76? Like, oh, we can get him to that before the pay-per-view. And like, wait, it's 100? Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no.
So that's after he interferes to do the same thing he was doing during the first, couple matches tonight. He then interferes a second time in one of these matches. It's like a 6-man tag. I want to say it's the British folk against some random jobber tag team I've never really heard of. Sid comes down, interferes, beats up the jobbers, pins 2 of the guys at once, and Charles Robinson counts the pin.
Okay.
He then pins the third guy. Charles Robinson counts that. He pins the third guy again after cutting a bit of a promo. And Charles Robinson counts it again. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
So I don't know what number he's going to come into fucking Nitro with next week.
He's going to come in with 304.
I don't know. But I'm just like, wait,
I don't know. His streak is so fucking arbitrary. And we know this. He knows this. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
It's no Goldberg streak. Which was also fudged. Like, we all know that was also fudged. But it was more realistically fudged.
It was fudged over a longer period of time.
Exactly. It was more realistic.
And even then, half the fudging was... People joke about it. It's like, yeah, I think he beat Hugh Morris 20 times.
Right.
So, I'm going to take your best guess. What number will Sid enter Nitro with next week?
75.
Okay, I'm going to go 71.
Okay.
Actually, 72.
Okay.
I don't know. They're going to give him 11 more. That way it's not...
11. That's so many.
Oh, God. But this overall was
it implies that there are 11 dark matches.
Or he just beats 11 guys. I mean, to be fair, there weren't 4 dark matches during this. He was just fucking powerbombing people.
Still.
Thoughts on the show as a whole?
So I stand by it. I really liked the first hour of the show. I loved the through line. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was excited. There came a point when we were watching this where we were both like, damn, this is a pretty good show. It must be getting close to the end. And we looked at the timeline and we're literally halfway through. And that's a problem.
The second half is a real... Minus the Chris Benoit match and the DDP Kidman segment. There is some good stuff in the second half. It's just...
few and far between.
Yeah, and the stuff between it is... real dull or just played out.
Yeah.
Overall, this is a better Nitro than we've had in a good amount of weeks.
I don't want to die. We did take a break watching this, but we didn't need a death break, This Nitro
had enough life in it to where, and granted, I've had a day to process it, but if this had been a bad Nitro and then they did the Hogan Rick Steiner bullshit, I would have been like, we're taking a month off from the podcast. I need to recover.
mean, but beforehand, Nick came into the recording and he was like, so I want to like spearhead some of this. I want to like move up our timeline in a couple episodes. So like he wants to like keep moving faster forward.
Well, I want to hit one of 3 milestones for our 2-year anniversary of the podcast.
Yeah.
But
we're not taking a month break yet.
No.
Check in next year.
That's another thing. We're looking at October too, so it's going to be right when we're going to get back from the honeymoon and be like, all right, we got to record.
We got to record it right now.
We're going to record from whatever beach we're
lounging on.
Yeah. But let's move into best bit and MVP. Emily, what is your best bit?
I will say I had a really hard time picking one.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I ended up going with a character building moment.
Okay.
From Vampiro.
Oh,
I thought it was funny.
You don't come over here unless Bobby...
Unless Bobby the Brain Heenan says you can come over here, you do not come to my huddle. I thought that was great.
As given away earlier, mine is the power bomb onto the bag of popcorn.
Giant bag of popcorn. Yeah. What about your MVP? Who'd you pick? I think we picked the same one.
Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
Listen, the man just came in, chokeslam motherfuckers, hit power bombs, and shouted.
He came to work.
This is why the other Sid weeks kill me, because I'm like, just do this.
Yeah.
Just do the Goldberg thing again.
Too easy.
Just have him be Wardlow. So next week, we have the April 23rd, 1999 Monday Nitro. And we didn't play the ratings game for this week. Nitro did a 3.3 to Raw's 6.6. Next week, they will do a 2.9. The first time they've been in the 2s since February 17th, 1997.
Wow.
Yep.
Do they get back out of the 2s?
We'll talk about that when we get to the week after. But until the next episode, you can listen to all of our back catalog on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and probably a few other places that just kind of take their RSS feeds from there. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ButtsInThePod, even though Emily doesn't post anything on the Instagram. And on Facebook at Butts and Seeds Podcast. Emily, any closing thoughts on our engagement episode?
Our betrothed episode? No.
Are we going to have Sid just randomly come down every couple minutes during the ceremony and powerbomb a random guest?
I will powerbomb them.
I would love to see that, especially in the bride's dress.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see when people get powerbombed by Sid next week. Honestly, that should be the new thing. Just taking bets on how many power bombs. It'll be episode 49, and then we're one away from 50.
We're almost there. It's almost shot time.
So until then, I'm Nick.
I am Emily.
And thanks for listening to the Butts and Seats podcast.
Woo. I changed it, I know.
What the fuck?